Hey, hey, let it go, let it go. Let me stop singing before I get a copyright strike. But anyway, hey everybody, it's Michelle. Ooh, y'all, I'm running. I was trying to get on here yesterday. It just did not work out. It was too much going on. But anyway, I hope y'all doing well. And as usual, yes, this week I have been loving and rocking my hats because it's been finally cold enough. I can go out. It's rainy and stuff, and I don't have to worry about things. And now, in case y'all didn't know, for those of you who know about black hair, I am a natural. Oh yes, oh yes. And my little hat helps, and I can even still have my hair doing something down here and up here. But down here, but anyway, okay, so um, it's kind of sort of story time, and I did a podcast about this because I promised I was like, I am not gonna pretend like I know everything and that I'm perfect. I am not. So let's just get that straight. Y'all already know it. I'm just saying it for the record. I'm far from it. But anyway, so y'all, in case you didn't know, I am amply blessed up here. Let's up here. So let me see. I don't even know if I want to do this because I'm sitting down. But if I raise up here, it just goes boop. So and then back down, and I'm like, ugh. So anyway, I have some challenges when it comes to my undergarments. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And I had this favorite place. I'm just gonna go on. You know what? I'm gonna go on and say a Dillis. I love me some bras from Dillis, and they used to have this brand called Cabernet. And I wore this brand for the better part of my adult life. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. First of all, they carried sizes that were past the double D, and cause like some of us we laugh at that. We'd be like, "Oh, you want me to wear a pasty?" So anyway, lo and behold, this last year they decided to do some things, and those things that they did was they either I'm still trying to figure it out because they're trying to make me believe that the company has now changed names to something with the word modern in it. Now on my podcast, I was nice, but on here, oh honey, they went low, so I'm taking it to the flow. I am pissed. So I was so pissed that I went and I tried it, y'all. I tried it. I went and I bought one of these new bras that the little sales lady said, "Oh, it works. It's doing it for you." Yes, it works. And I tried it on. No, I didn't try it on. Well, I tried it on there, and I was like, my mouth was all twitching and stuff because I was like mad. And tried it on. Went out to run errands, and not even an hour in, it was poking me in my side and doing all that kind of stuff that he making you look side-eyed like you're trying to give me breast cancer. But anyway, I don't want to joke about that. It was uncomfortable. It did not hold up. Honey, its statute of limitation was like, oh, this the real thing? This not the play up here? This the real thing? Oh, well, we gonna give up the ghost because the real thing is heavy and we not, made for that. And it was cutting me all in my shoulder and stuff. And I was like, what you not finna do is take my money and try to pretend like this better. And it costs more. That was the whole thing. It costs more money than the ones I was used to. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that was the wrong one. And since I had washed and worn and all this kind of stuff, I was like, okay, I'm stuck with it. I go back. I said, well, let's do it again now. And I tried to do it again, and I got a different style. This one cost even more. I made sure I was, with the little tape, they do the professional tape measuring and stuff, and they brought me the sizes, and they were like, "Oh, it look good." And I took it home, and I didn't wash it because I have to wash my stuff before I wear it. But I didn't wash it, but I was like, let me test it out in my environment. So I put it on, wore it around the house for about an hour, and by the time that hour was up, not only was it pinching me, but it was just not right. So I know I'm taking a long time to tell y'all about this, but I got to tell it on myself because I learned something through this. Because it was enough for me to get pissy mad. I'm talking about I was having a pissy day, and so I took it back. And I did not just take it back. I went to the customer service And I ain't gonna lie, I was not like hand on my hip doing this fussing, but I wanted some changes. And the changes I wanted is I wanted my old brand and my old bra back. Is that too much to ask? Well, evidently it is. And then I was like, well, why can't you bring back this? And they went on to tell me because, have to move with the times. And what they was doing, no tea, no shade, was telling me that I was stuck in my ways and that this was not what customers, the consumers wanted now. I was like, if I am this large, I don't need extra padding. I don't need thin spaghetti straps. I, you know what? Even if you just want to give me white, beige, and black, I'll be happy. But no, they was like, you can't have that anymore. So yes, I got mad, and I was stewing. I was stewing so much that I was all on here on YouTube looking for how to make your own bra. And I was trying to look for the type that I had before to find me a pattern. Now, guess what? I can't sew. I can't. I cannot. I don't own a sewing machine. I know how to lay out a pattern. My mother used to sew, and I know the gist of sewing, but I don't know how to sew. But I was gonna learn today. And now this happened all like a few weeks ago, and I had to calm myself down, and I was like, Michelle, what is really going on with you? Seriously, what's really going on? And so I I went and I dug and dug and dug till I parsoned out a few of the bras that I could make it through until I find an alternative. And then I started, studying how to make a bra. Then I went through and I was like, okay, there's got to be somebody out there that's comparable. So I contacted some of my sisters in arms, and I was like, what are y'all using? And they told me about this brand. And of course, the brand is like 2 or 3 times more what I used to, have for a bra. And I'm gonna just tell y'all, it is really hard when you are outside of the bell curve and you need something because they can charge you and they can get away with it because they know we need it. Because I'm gonna tell you, unlike some folks, there is no banding, there is no hiding this. Mm-mm, they not playing. And so I'm stuck. I have to do that if I go out amongst people. And so I have to have good foundational garments. And so I broke down, I bought one, and I'm like, wow, I'm paying like $100 and something for this. But it works. It's not what I'm used to. It has some different little technologies that they swear up and down. I have not been able to make it a full day yet because I haven't gone out and like been out, because like they can fool you with 4 to 6 hours. But it's when you got to be stuck in that brother all day long and there is no end in sight. So I'm going to try it out. But through the process, this is what I learned. And thank you for letting me have my little story time. And Dillis, I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to say that thank you for helping me because now I'm switching sides. I am no longer the poster child, pom pom shaker, cake baker for your brand of foundational garments. I'm sorry, it's time to switch. And y'all, that is not what my podcast is about, but I just needed to get this off my chest and let y'all, yes, off my chest, and let y'all know the trials and tribulations I've been going through over here. Because I know for a fact that I am not that much of the minority when it comes to this issue. And just to get good foundational garments, I'm not trying to be on a walkway and show all my stuff because if I show all my stuff, it's gonna cause some problems. But I'm just trying to be comfortable, like I think I should be, and so I had to switch sides. So I kind of wanted to be hateful about the situation because when I started looking around, guess what I found? A lot of people like me are not happy with this change. Oh yes. Oh yes. It is out there. There are people like can I like on eBay talk about if you have a new one somewhere, I'll buy it. I don't care. I just need you to give me back those, particular products. I'm like, this is sad. But I guess it's not enough for us for them to want to change. And it's all good. So I had to kind of like step back because I was like, I'm giving too much energy to this. It's too much. It's causing me to be too salty about it. And so I had to step back. And this is the thing I found out. Now, on my podcast, I talk a lot about adaptability quotient, and it's the new, it's what the IQ test was back in the day. The AQ test, and that is to see how adaptable you are when things happen, how fast, quick you're able to assimilate to the situation at hand. And y'all, I thought I was doing something. I was like, oh yeah, I'm on it, doggone it. But only in those areas that I was constantly being challenged in. The first time something happened out of the ordinary, I wasn't expecting it, and it wasn't an area that I was constantly having to adapt to, I showed my tail and I failed. Oh, yes, I did. And I failed in a way that I didn't even realize I was failing because I had to step back, remove all this subjectivity about me and mine and what was best for me and can't you see and all this stuff until I realized, you're not being very wise about this. You are showing your tail. And I had to just like admit I was wrong. And so over the last few weeks, I've been kind of like working on myself. And part of working on myself is what do they say? Hey, the first step is admitting you're wrong. So I was wrong when it came to how I was handling my situation. And I was stuck in my comfort zone. And I was not realizing that this was just life giving me another avenue to shore up my adaptability. And y'all, adaptability is real important. They are actually estimating that as we continue on in the next decade, they're going to be looking for people who are agile. I mean, able to turn on a dime, and not because they are so professional in something, but because they have the foundational skills of being able to survive and thrive in various terrains, environments, situations. I think they're trying to move all of us into becoming freaking MacGyvers. Take what you got and make it work. Tim Gunn was trying to tell us all them years, make it work. And now I'm having to make it work. And so I kind of wanted to come on here and just, really just talk and let you know, not to bask with me in my struggles and my pain and frustration, but to lay it bare and tell the truth about this was to me a situation to help me to see where I'm still lacking and that I don't have this up, I don't have this right. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can help somebody else. And maybe it can be where I help you to quickly understand what's happening. I used to work for the airline industry, and when I would travel, still now, when I travel and something unexpected happens, because I was in the airline industry, I'm more adaptable. That things happen, things change, and it might cause me some problems, but I have to adapt. And I'll look and it be those folks that you would not expect to be throwing those hate dances at the counter. What do you mean we're delayed? I'm gonna miss my connection. What do you mean I can't get up into the first class? I'm a diamond, super, super. I just be looking and shaking my head. And the thing is I was a little stuck up in that because I was so used to traveling that I know you got to go with the flow. But baby, let somebody change my bra type, and then I'm right there with what those people, what I accuse those people of doing. So y'all know I made some notes, and I want you to definitely check out the podcast today because I actually go through how we moved from the intelligence quotient onto the emotional quotient, onto the social emotional quotient, and now to the adaptability quotient. And I talked about Howard Gardner and his 9 types of intelligence. So please check out the podcast. Do me that solid. But today I'm gonna just tell y'all some of the things that I personally had to come up against, and I do cover a little bit of this, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently. See y'all right here, right here. That's me adjusting, Justin. Okay. So anyway, so the first thing, like I said before, I had to learn to let go, of course, of course. And what I realized in this learning to let go was that it was not a process only. It was a process, and then it was a proclamation. And through my finally realizing that, I'm like, why am I acting such a fool over this bra situation? And of course, I could blame it on, that front of the head kind of thing, but it was something emotionally keeping me back. And once I became aware of it, I had to just get to the point where I stopped and I was like, you know what? You are done. Done. And right then, I was like, okay, accept it, move on. It's time to quit fussing, wallowing, and complaining and just do it. And at that point, that's when I moved on. And so that was a big thing for me, that when it's time to change as I'm growing, hopefully this will help you as you're growing and becoming able to be more flexible and agile and turn on a dime. Once you get aware of it, let that be your process where, okay, I'm aware of it. And then make your proclamation and be like, okay, we do it. And you don't turn back, you just do it. And so, like now, like I said before, this for me is cathartic just to show you how I missed the mark. And I'm like, only telling from that because now that I've got the lesson, I'm like, okay, I see where I missed the mark. Thank you, wisdom. Thank you, life, for showing me this because I'm pretty sure these skills that I was forced to endure are going to help me to be more able to see when more stuff comes from out of left field that's not in my regular areas that I'm used to, where I'll now be ready to understand. Okay, when you recognize it, that means it is time for you to proclaim that you are done and move on. So that was one of the big things. And with that, being able to see things from a different view. I'm not talking about the dealers and the company and all that kind of stuff. No, I am talking about from a different view that's advantageous for you and for me. We can still be selfish in seeing a different view. It's okay. And so, with my different view was, okay, I don't have to be loyal to you anymore. I'm out. And I'm pretty sure that if I found something that I liked here, I'll be able to find something else. And it took me a few weeks to go through and test some things and try some things on. And I did not like driving all around to different places, but I eventually found something. And they have a little bit of different new technology and stuff. And so I'm okay with that. And because of taking a different view, I'm able to look at things from a different standpoint. Like I said, I'm still going to look into making my own bras and maybe bras for somebody else because if I'm going through this situation, I'm pretty sure somebody else is too. So I'm still leaving that on the table. So there's that. And then the other thing that I wanted to say, and I'm not gonna stay on here too long because I told you all about my story, taking up all that time. I feel good now. The other thing I wanted to say is that when it's time to switch it up, usually it leaves signs that it's time that you are holding on to pleasant memories. Y'all, when I was a long time ago, when I was a hairdresser trying to put myself through school, there would be people's ends of their hair that they, oh my God, it was like pleasant memories. You look at their ends and they be like this, or sometimes they be like on the struggle tip, and they didn't want you to cut anything past the longest one. They're like, just take that off. I'm like, no, you need all of that off because it's just pleasant memories. And I had to laugh about that because I was like, why am I holding on to pleasant memories? I need to get over this. And so that was another wake up call in the wisdom smack that I was getting, was that it's time to switch up when the clues start happening. The clues are, uh, have you allowed yourself to get too dated to matter? Because the lady looking at me from the customer service that said dealers. Well, first of all, she didn't have my problem, so all she could do was basically look at me and say, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I understand your." She didn't say consternation, but she was trying to search for a word. She's like, "I understand that you're a little heated about this." I was like, "I'm not heated. I'm frustrated, and I need to know what are my remedies." And when they called a lady from that area who knew the buyer, they politely told me that, "Ma'am, it's time for us to move on with the times." And the and the requirements of today require that we have a little bit of more of this or that. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. So basically, you calling me stuck in my ways. And it wasn't just that, it was, why do I care about this one style so much? And that's when I realized that I was becoming dated and that it was time to switch it up. Especially when I looked through all of these garments that I had and I'm holding on for dear strays and I can't replace them because they don't make them anymore. I'm like, come on, Michelle, it's time. And like I said, it leaves clues, especially when your stuff is tattered and you're looking dated. and people are looking at you like it's time to move on. It's time to move on, you know. And so I was like, yeah, it's time to update. And it wasn't because I'm trying to stay so up with the times. No, no, that's not the case. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I stay flexible. And that's the next clue. If you find that there are things that you just hold on to and you only want this way of doing it, then that's another clue that it's time to switch it up because you're becoming too inflexible and too rigid. And I always remember the different types of trees and how they talk about, you can be mighty as an oak, but you have to be bendable like a willow because in a strong storm, the strong, sturdy are easier to break than those who are flexible. I get my knee on, go back with it. And I had to swallow that humble pie because it didn't feel good. And in swallowing that and going out and driving and looking at other places, contacting places, and it's embarrassing when you have to tell somebody your bra size and they're like, "Baby, do they sell that letter?" And you're like just looking at them like, "For real, for real." You know, um, let me get back on. Let me get back on, y'all. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. So, but anyway, I started learning that in part of this moving on, staying adaptable, being flexible, understanding when I have held on too long, that there is this thing that I didn't realize would come through this switching it up, and that is the art of diplomacy. See, when I thought about this stuff, I was like thinking, oh, I've got to totally abandon where I was to get to where I want to now. And it wasn't even that. I contacted the company from that they had a few bras at the local places, and they were like, no, don't go there for what you're looking for, because I actually got someone on the phone and was able to talk to them. I told them my size, and they're like, oh, so you're 36. And I'm like, yeah, Lane Bryant doesn't start there in this cup, because they think that if you're this size and you got to be a woman of girth. And anyway, so it was a hard situation, and they sent me to a website. And I was able to look at some of the things, and they worked with me. And I'm trying out one so far, and I promise you guys, for those of you who are challenged up here like me, if it works for me, I will give them a shout out. I really will, because it was hard, but in that I learned that I was lacking diplomacy and being so rigid to say I only want this, and instead listening to what they had to say, listening to how they have learned how to redistribute the weight and the effect of it on your back and some of the designs that they're putting out. And so when I wrote about it, because yes, I had to journal about this. I was that angry. I had to journal and get down to stuff, and I'm still unpacking a lot of stuff, but I didn't want this to go any further before I came and fessed up in public and showed y'all the wisdom, some smacks that are smacking me upside the head. And oh, I'm gonna close this out because I gotta get to my next appointment. But I just kind of want to let you know that there comes a time in your own life when nobody but you can assess when you're stuck in your ways and when it's time to switch it up. And have you ever seen that person where um, they're rocking a hairstyle that they've been rocking since they were 17, and you're like, it's time to get that up, but they can't see it? The last thing we want to do, especially if we're trying to live our best version of our best life, is to show to the world how dated and stuck we are in a certain time. I did a podcast about that a little while ago, and I attributed some of it to trauma. But for some folks, it don't have nothing to do with trauma. It has to do with times like this where we don't learn and we just box against the wind, and we dig in further and get stuck in our ways, and we are like, I know I'll never love this way again. That was the best I ever had. No one, nothing will ever come behind that. And that's just not true. Because just like doing that, we start to mess with our flow of growth. We start to mess with so many different things. I'm going to be talking about flow. And I actually had somebody asking me about flow when it comes to money. I was like, why do you always ask me about money? But I guess because I do this on my own for years and years, people want to know, how do you continue to take care of yourself? So be on the lookout for that. We're going to do a live on talking about the money flow around our life with wisdom. what wisdom we can learn about that. Okay, so with that being said, y'all, I'm going to put the link to the podcast in the description. And on the podcast, I mentioned a few books. I mentioned the book Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield, where he talks about the difference between being a hobbyist and being a professional. And it comes down to this one thing. And then I also talked about a guy that I'm so inspired by every day. And his name is David Goggins, and he has a book out called Can't Hurt Me. And the part that I enjoyed and I talked about today was how even with him being a Marine, a Navy SEAL, and an Army Ranger, he still had to get to the point of learning to change and grow and to become flexible. And now, in his 40s, he has incorporated the ritual of making sure his actual body is flexible so that he can continue to do the stuff that he's always done. And he attributes being paying more time to his flexibility, to the fact that he's able to do things that he did in his 20s now in this 20 plus years later. And so I'll put the link of those two books in there. Highly recommend them. And you guys, thank you so much. Thank y'all for coming over and listening to the podcast. I'm very humbled and excited. And thank you to that person who sent me the cash app from here. Oh my gosh, thank you. So yes, I will continue to put those links there. I'll continue to put my book links there as well. And thank you. So I'm going to go on and end this one. Y'all have been great for listening to me. And yes, I had to tell the truth, shame the devil, because I was wrong. I was just wrong, y'all. So until later, I'll try to see if I can get on here tomorrow since I wasn't able to get on here today, but don't hold me to that. All right, so I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.